Welcome to the podcast that looks at truth, fiction, and reality with a smirk. I'm Aaron Peterson.
I'm Amanda Sink.
And I'm Zack Parkerson.
And welcome to Smirk. Each episode, one of our hosts introduces an original story, which we then use as a springboard for a spirited and lighthearted discussion of whatever the moral or theme of the story is or was. This week it is Zack's turn, which means someone will die.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. My God. That's so brutal. I'm not always macabre.
A couple weeks ago, you were talking about writing your story. You didn't really love the story you had written, and you've had time to go back to it. Have you revamped it, or just the original one that you weren't so thrilled with the first time?
Oh, no, I completely threw that one away.
Really? Completely ditched it?
Yeah, man, hey, if you're an artist, sometimes you got to learn to let things go.
No, I don't. I just keep forcing it down people's throat until they accept it, or, yeah.
Well, that sounds both bitter and foolish.
It's probably why I'm not a successful artist.
More than a little stubborn. You're successful. We got a whole, look at this enterprise we've built.
Yes, the Smirk empire is really taking over.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Are you guys not approaching retirement? I know I am.
Pretty close, yeah.
Where are you getting those funds from?
I don't know.
Those t-shirt sales are really taking off, huh?
I've been selling the trademark behind y'all's back.
I appreciate that. Good for you.
It's honestly probably from your Starbucks secret sales that you've been doing behind our backs and on the episode.
Right. Selling the trade secrets for free. It's always a very smart strategy.
I've never heard so many people get excited about our podcast learning the Starbucks secrets that last episode. That was interesting, I guess. I mean, really, you guys are this is big news for the world? I didn't know that it was, but it is, apparently.
I think the pumpkin spice being in the back of the stores year-round really rocks some worlds, man.
There's a lot of basic bitches that are really upset they didn't know that.
Oh, my God. The thing is, they only wanted it around the fall anyway, when it's on the signs.
I don't get it. Is that a Halloween thing? You don't if you like pumpkin, wouldn't you like it all year round? Is that people at Christmas, they only like peppermint in December?
Yeah, because marketing tells them to.
It's great.
Wake up, sheeple.
If you guys like Smirk, every app has a share feature, so please do us a favor, 2 favors. Rate us real quick. All you gotta do is click on stars and whatever your app has, and share it with your friends on Twitter or Facebook or Reddit, whatever it is. Just share us. That would be greatly appreciated.
Ooh, Reddit.
Yeah, shout out to Reddit.
Shout out to whoever you're going to share it to. I don't really care. Instagram, can you just take a picture of the logo and share that? That'd be great too.
Go to the subreddit Respect the Hyphen for a lot of good laughs about all the things and places that leave out the hyphen in Spider-Man. Pro tip.
Where they just make it one word.
Yeah, it's so infuriating. It's not his name.
Well, he's a Spider-Man. I'd rather it was a comma. I find when it's a comma, it makes me laugh. Because then it's what is he, in the 60s?
Man, that would be tough to read.
I would read it. All right, that's enough nonsense. Are you ready to tell your story?
Thwip thwip. Yeah, sure, why not? Gather around the campfire. It's time for a story. Joseph wanted nothing more than to be a professional wrestler. Growing up, he couldn't get enough of the colorful bombast these personalities would display, the thrill of combat, the twists and turns of the narratives, and the display of peak physical performances. He admired the hell out of these athletes. Every chance Joseph had, he would try out, only to face rejection. He came fairly close to his big break once. Joseph became the manager of a relatively mediocre pair of tag team wrestlers, but he thought he could surely leverage this opportunity. He tried to book in on their training sessions at the training camp, only to be denied. It was for the athletes only, after all. For years he would try this, but the rejections never ceased. And now that he was in his 30s, it was never going to happen for him at all. Most athletes have to retire in their late 30s, after all. Joseph was dismayed, but just couldn't bring himself to quit. He had one angle left to play. Over the years, he had turned those mediocre wrestlers into pretty good ones. Now he would make them great. It took a couple more years, but he did just that. And together, those wrestlers won a tag team championship belt. Surely, he thought, no one could deny him now. He produced quantifiable results and should be rewarded as such. And He actually was. The training camp relented and allowed him 1 session per week. It would never be enough to turn him pro, but they thought it would be enough to placate an older man's dreams. And they were wrong. It allowed Joseph access to the camp, and even though he was only granted 1 session a week, he was there every single day, lifting weights, running cardio, and studying the pros until he was in the physical prime of his life. Eventually, he could no longer be denied that he was ready, and he was allotted a single professional match. It marked him as the oldest debut wrestler in history at 35 years old.
Are you ready to rumble? Really bummed he lived.
Oh, and also he tripped and broke his neck.
Yeah!
There it is.
That's my kind of wrestling match.
And that'll tell you never try to do anything with your life.
He worked so hard. He got so jacked. He got in the ring. His neck broke.
Shucks. But hey, he was in the ring, so who cares, right? A win's a win.
That story could
Now,
have
how old
taken
did you say he was?
35.
What's the average?
8.
For wrestling?
Who knows?
Yeah.
It's got to be
usually,
younger, right?
Yeah, you usually start around 20 or so, and then you beat your body to hell for a decade and a half, and then you retire.
Oh.
And you throw a chair on somebody.
You used to be able to get more mileage, but as expectations increase, the physical demands also increase.
Now, can I ask for a clarification?
Sure.
Is this like real wrestling or WWE?
Oh boy, here we go.
Fair question.
WWE is real wrestling. You're still, it is scripted, Aaron, but it is still athletes performing an insane physical feat.
It's stunts.
Sure.
I mean, it is, right? It's not
Right.
really...
Yeah, I guess it is stunt work, but it is still you putting your body out there. Like you're still
Fair.
hitting the mat. The chair is still whacking you in the head.
I get that, but it's not really a competition when you already know who's going to win.
Yes, there is a script.
See? So that's what I'm saying. It's like not real wrestling. Real wrestling means it can be either guy's game. These guys know exactly who's going to win when they walk in. And the WWE, so that's more of entertainment.
Sometimes you get last minute calls, you little whisper in the ear to change the narrative on a dime kind of thing.
It's like pick your own ending. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you just have to go with the crowd's reactions.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah. But with money on the line, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Am I supposed to ask you the moral of the story now?
I think that's how this goes.
I think that's how it goes every
Man, it's hard to
episode
remember.
before, yeah.
Okay, wait. No, I think you're right. What do you guys think the moral of the story is?
That you're never too old to start pursuing your dreams.
Aw.
Incorrect?
Aaron's got to say something first.
The moral or theme of that story,
I think it's
is-
moral. It's the M in Smirk.
give up on your dreams earlier.
Right, or else you'll break your neck.
Exactly. Learn when to quit. Learn when to just give it all. Guess what? Not everybody is special, actually. That's really what it means.
Ooh, I'm so happy you said that. But the moral is, it's never too late, and you're never too old.
Ah!
Yeah.
That's like 2 points through this whole show that
That's
I've got.
inspiring.
I'm capable of positivity.
Yeah, sure.
I'm really proud of you for this story.
It's like
I think fans might be disappointed. Fans, you're not that popular. Listeners.
this might be like your
Wow.
12th step.
Yes, right. The therapy that is Smirk. But you know what? I'm going to jump ahead a few questions based on what Aaron just said there.
Uh-oh.
That no one's special. One of my questions is, hey, is it bullshit that we tell kids they can do whatever they want? You can do whatever you set your mind to?
Amanda.
Aaron's response is now the one I am intrigued with.
Amanda has a psychology degree, so I'll let her go
Oh,
before
boy.
I destroy
Here we
childhood
go.
dreams.
I think it's important that we make sure kids have some sort of a goal in their mind. If we tell them that they're not anything special and they're just like everyone else and that they can't be anything that they want, then what's the purpose of them taking that initiative? What's the motivation? I feel like they kind of lose that. You're supposed to have somebody in your life who's a big supporter of whatever you want to do. You can go for it. You can go for it. Whether you suck or you're great at it is not the point. The point is that you're able to pursue that dream, and possibly along that journey, you might find another route that you would rather take or that you'd be more suitable for. And that's part of life. So I would not say that it's bullshit to tell children that they can be anything they want. I think it's still a good message for us to send to kids, especially if you're that person for them. I think it's also important to set realistic expectations, though. So help them on their journey. If that's something that they really believe in, that they really want to do, then you have to then be there to help them get to that point. They need to know that there are challenges and different barriers that they're going to have to face to be able to get to this accomplishment, but that it's possible with enough hard work and,
God, are you done? Are you done, Rocky?
Sorry, I'm done.
Jesus. What was the question again? I can't even remember anymore.
Well, when it's Amanda, you have to let her make the point, and then you have to let her make her point again.
That's true.
That's the show.
Good call. What was the question? I legitimately forgot.
Well, is it bullshit that we tell kids they can do whatever they set their minds to?
Yes, and no. You shouldn't ever discourage people. If you really feel like you've got a dream, you should do everything you could to accomplish that dream. But I never encourage lying to children. Therefore, if a kid shows you his artwork and says he wants to be an artist, and it's atrocious. I mean, and he says, "What do you think?" I don't believe in saying, "You know what? That's beautiful." I don't agree with that. I don't. But do I want to discourage him? No. Because, you might find, like Amanda said, I think at some point during that monologue, that you might find something else along the way or something that fits you and something that works. But I'm not going to lie to a child. If I've got friends who have, because I write, and I'm sure, Zach, you're a big writer too. Well, we're all writers on the show. I'm just saying, like, these are our personal hobbies of ours. And I know when people have sent me stuff and said, "Hey, look it over. What do you think?" And it's not good. It's just not good. But you don't want to discourage somebody, but I'm not going to tell them, "Hey, that was great." I will give them honest critiques. That's what I think you should do. Give them honest critiques. Don't kill the dream, but don't necessarily feed the dream with a bunch of nonsense either. That makes sense?
You said that you don't believe in lying to children. Does that mean that you've never told your children about Santa? This is a real question I have for a lot of parents.
Lord. What does this have to do with his topic?
Because I was just questioning a piece of information that you added in there that you don't believe in lying to children. But so many parents, I hear them say that same thing. And then they're like, "Yeah, but we'll tell them about Santa and the elf on the shelf." And
I will tell you, I 100% never said Santa Claus exists. 100%. Now,
did you ever write gifts from Santa?
I sure did. But that's an alias I go by. So
right, yes.
I wouldn't call it a lie. Here's my thing. I think it's a test. The whole Santa thing is a test for smart kids. It's like trying to figure out, at what age are you smart enough to figure out this guy doesn't exist? He's never, sorry, spoiler alert if you're a child. This guy doesn't exist.
Whoops.
Or an adult who's just, not smart. It's a test to find out exactly how far have you gone in life? How far have you advanced? How far are you paying attention? It's really making them pay attention to the obvious clues. Like, whatever the cookies are eating, it's only when they're in bed and it only comes at a certain time and da-da-da-da. And if I sneak downstairs, it's probably going to see dad or mom. Use your head, kid. Just use your head. It's a test.
It's a lie. It's an important lie.
It's not quite a lie if you never say, "Yes, there's definitely a Santa Claus," which I never did.
Still think it's a lie.
There's an implied level of, deceit there.
Hey, I'm going to tell you a secret. If anybody's married and your wife says, "How do I look in this dress?" and you go, "You look nice," or you don't say anything, you're letting them believe whatever they want to believe. That's not lying.
That's true.
You're just allowing them to live with that ridiculous notion that they look like Jennifer Lopez when they don't. Got quiet here all of a sudden.
Dead air. Yeah, it did. Ooh. Anyway, the Santa lie is important because you need to realize that people are going to lie to you your entire life, and you need the example of your parents lying to you.
Wow, there is Zachary there with the darkness. You go.
Bring on the darkness.
That's just honesty. It is a lie that you can do anything you set your mind to a degree. Because if you got 12 kids in your kindergarten class all saying they want to be the president, and you tell them all, "Yeah, you can definitely do that." That's not true.
Well, they could. I mean, just take rotating turns into the presidency.
See, 4 times 12. I don't think that math works out at all. That's 48 years.
It's very important that kids know that there are limitations and you can't win everything.
See, set realistic expectations.
Yeah, set realistic goals. Hey, you could be president, but there's a lot of other people that could too, and you got to beat them, which means you're probably going to have to take some people out, I think, is what that means.
Or would you settle for Congress?
Yeah, teach them to settle young.
Well, that's why I'm vehemently against the participation trophy.
And then we segue into a topic on marriage.
Whoa. I don't think we're ready for that. The kids, they need to be told, yeah, you could be an artist, but you're going to have to draw every single day if you want to do it professionally. You know, that kind of thing. So you can achieve most things you set your mind to. But not every kid's going to be an astronaut.
True. And what I feel is very important that kids understand is that just because you want to achieve that doesn't mean you're going to be the best. There are people with natural talent that you're going to have to work a lot harder to get to their level. And if you're willing to dedicate yourself to it, then so be it. And you might achieve your dreams, and you should never quit on your dreams if you really feel passionate about it. Just know you might have to work harder than another person. You might not get the same breaks as them. You know, a lot of it is who you know. A lot of it is just how you go about your life, what kind of attitude you have. Like people with negative attitude have a lot of talent. They don't go as far a lot of times because people don't want to deal with pains in the ass. That's just the way life is. So it's really about how you perceive the challenge and address it.
So great you say that, Aaron, because my next question is, at what point is it irresponsible to hold on to your aspirations?
Oh, like when should you quit on your dreams?
Is there a point where it transitions into irresponsibility?
Yes. If it's so, let's say that it's something that's costing you a lot of money to try and upkeep your talent or your efforts to make this dream a reality. So if you're spending a ton of money to try to get to this point and it's costing you, your utilities aren't kept on, you don't have lights and you don't have hot water, or maybe you have to like move back home and nobody wants you there and you're not contributing anything and you're not working, all of those different things. Like if you set yourself back in life, if it's negatively impacting the rest of your life, I feel like that is a part that where you should just kind of set a boundary. And I'm not saying that going back home is the problem. It's like if you don't have any focus on anything else and you lose everything that you built up to that point and you go in reverse, to me, then it should be, okay, how can I focus on adequately managing everything? Because I have this dream, but I'm giving up everything else and I'm not really making progress. Maybe I should take a step back and figure out what my game plan should be if I'm going to continue with this dream, or maybe I should consider, I don't know, something I'm good at.
If you have to get to the point where you have to sell your body for sex, for snacks, I think that's the line right there. That's the line.
Wow, that's suspiciously specific.
I'm not saying I've been there, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's, I think as long as you can do it and it's not detrimental to your family or your personal wealth or livelihood, then I think it's okay. There are people I know that are still pursuing their dream. They want to be artists. They want to be writers. That stuff doesn't really cost money. So keep doing it. But like Amanda said, I mean, if your dream is I want to be a drug kingpin and you keep buying all this cocaine you can't get rid of, I think that's a problem.
You got to know your market, man.
Yeah, maybe you just realize that the government is beating you on this whole drug game.
No,
and you should give up.
You know, in your guys' region, cocaine's out, heroin's in. You just got to move with the market.
Oh my God.
I live in Illinois, man. Marijuana just became legal. Somebody's been trying for years and they're like, finally, I got a window.
Perfect. That government's going to make more money than you ever could.
It's true.
They already did on like day one.
That is true. Yeah. It's all about when is it unhealthy for everyone, you involved as well as your family.
As I say, for me, I feel like the only line is kids. Because you could afford to put yourself in debt if you really think you're going to achieve a dream. You really want to try to be that big YouTuber and stream 20 hours a day or whatever the hell. You can do it, but there's something, that's why I don't advocate having kids young. There's something about having a kid that really, you now have an obligation above yourself.
Oh, you're not saying like children shouldn't continue to do this. You're saying if you're a parent with a child, you need to like refocus.
You pop one of those suckers out.
Okay.
You put them on hold. You put your dreams on hold. I did that. I had kids too young and I put my dreams on hold. I don't regret any of it, and it was the right call. And I think there are people that probably get bitter about it, but I don't know why. I mean, kids come first. That's just how it rolls.
I think people get bitter because they think that you can be too old. You're like, well,
You can.
I'm already 30. Like, what's the point of trying to be an artist now? But the real answer is, if you don't get paid for art until you're 44, you still made it as a professional artist.
Well, I think that enters us into another question too, is how do you define success? How do you, when you say, okay, I have this goal of being, for example, a professional writer or professional artist, what does that actually look like for you? Does it mean that you have to be a New York Times #1 bestseller if you want to be a novelist? Or does it mean that you publish a book and start your own series? Like success looks different for everybody. And if you don't set what those goals are going to be,
yeah, that's true.
You're never really going to know when you've done it or not. You know what I mean? Unless yours is to be the president, then I guess if you hit it or not.
Good luck. I mean, I think that's everybody's goal this year because there's about 400 people running. I know a guy who's married to a friend of mine who his dream was always to become an actor, right? That was his dream forever. And they got together, they had kids. Of course, they didn't mean to. They didn't, wrap it or slap it, didn't apply. So they have 2 kids, and which means he can't technically go pursue his dream of being an actor because that involves going to Hollywood and da-da-da-da. Obviously, you can't support a family for the most part that way. So what he did is he's still a very active and involved father, but he started doing community theater, and he's like directing a play, I think, in the spring. So to him, he's succeeding. He's still living his dream. He didn't care about money and fame and everything else. He just wanted to be an actor. And that's what he's able to do now. He's able to get on a stage. Even though it's a smaller stage, he gets to live his dream. He's very happy. I'm sure it's not everything he always wanted, but he still basically gets to have both his cake and eat it too. He gets to have his family and also be an actor. And I think, it's just and what you're willing to accept.
And also, why do you have this goal or this aspiration? Because, for example, using your friend's story of wanting to be an actor, if his reason for wanting to achieve that was because he wanted notoriety or he wanted to make tons of money, then that's obviously going to contribute to what he defines as success. And he's never going to really find fulfillment versus, I love doing this. I'm super passionate about it. And if I can make a living doing this, if I can really just put all of my excess time and effort into it, then I feel good. And that's what I want to do. And that's the reason for doing it. And so I don't think people really fully think about the reason they want to pursue certain things unless, like, obviously artists and writers, I think that they know what they want to do and they have some level of understanding of what success looks for them. But if you're doing it for money, when is enough? And what are you willing to sacrifice to make more money? And is it really worth it?
$1 billion.
Until you can afford the laser beams on top of the sharks' heads.
Yes, I would define success that. Absolutely. If you tell me you made enough writing that you can have sharks with frickin' laser beams on their heads, they'd be like, made it, suck it, all the haters.
Nothing but downhill after that. You're at the peak. Well, yeah. All right. Last question. Is there a dream you gave up on?
Like a real dream, or when I was a child and I had a list of dreams?
Isn't that real still? Weren't you a human being then?
I wanted to be a singer. I can't sing. I wanted to be an actress. I've never pursued that. I wanted to be an astronaut. I'm afraid of heights. I can't even stand on a table. I wanted to be the president. Thankfully, I'm not going that path.
America thanks you too.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I thought I wanted to do just because it sounded cool for different reasons. But the only one that really stuck with me is I was like, oh, it would be really cool to be a singer, but I can't sing. So, I'm not really interested in putting in 3 times the work as everyone else to go to classes and spend money and learn how to do it for that. But I would say, at least at this point in my life, right now, doesn't mean forever, but right now, I have given or set aside my dream of being a psychologist, at least on the temporary, because the amount of money it takes to get to that point with the level of education required and the years that you have to spend crafting that, it's a lot. It's overwhelming. and I'm not even halfway there. So the thought of doing double what I've already done, it's just like, what's the point? I don't know.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of
It's sad, right?
Yeah,
That sounds pretty sad.
It's so expensive, and it only gets worse from here. Like, the amount of money I have in student loans from only 2 years of schooling, because the rest was not in student loans, is almost what my salary used to be for a year. And going forward, would have to get 2 more degrees to do what I want to do and what I love to do.
That's just
and that's
insane to me.
A lot of money. And you don't even get accepted to everything. You have to pay thousands of dollars to apply to different universities for your master's and your doctorate degrees. And you don't know that you're getting accepted, and none of that money is refunded. And then you have to pay money to the state to take tests to find out if you even qualify for different things. So there's just like a lot of money that goes into continuing the education beyond just the education, and thinking about spending my whole life in debt. Is it really worth it? Right now, no. So
the answer to your question, Zach, is Amanda hasn't given up on her dreams. America made her. America broke her dreams. They said,
vote for Sanders.
There you go. Yeah, sure. Or Warren, everything's free. I gave up on my dream to be an actor, but I don't know how much was really my dream. So I will say I gave up on my dream to be a cop. That originally was a very attainable dream when I was younger, is to be a cop. Yep.
Really?
And I gave up on it. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was a dream of yours.
Did you keep the handcuffs though? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah, I still got a pair. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think you got kids?
No.
Well, you had to handcuff the women? That's not a good image.
I do not appreciate that image. Thank you. I definitely, I went back to school for it, and it was a more attainable goal than trying to be an actor, because obviously, like I said, or a writer, because, like I said, I put that on hold to be a dad. And then there were one officer or 2 officers killed in the line of duty, and I decided that wasn't. I just couldn't risk it, because my kids were they needed me at that point. Put it that way. So, yep, put it on hold, or put the kibosh on it. Just realized it wasn't a good plan for me. I'll solve crimes in my mind.
Or on true crime podcasts while you jog.
Exactly. I just obsess that way and be like one of those people. I figured it out. No, I didn't.
It was me. I'm a genius. I'll play Sherlock Holmes video games.
Just start a Facebook group and work with a bunch of other people and hunt down the serial killer.
Exactly, because they hurt
don't
cats.
Mess with cats. Yeah.
Did you, Zach? Did you give up on a dream?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all do. Of course, I want to be Spider-Man, but the spiders never gave me the power.
Did you ever try it? I did.
Yeah, I definitely let spiders bite me.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you love Spider-Man, you just give it a whirl. You got to try.
Because, I know in my head, it's just a story, but you can't erase the part in your back of your head of well, what if this is the time?
I mean, scientifically, you can't disprove it. So
all science is theoretical. So that's possible.
Saying, I believe you. I'm with you, man.
Yeah, also speaking of kid dreams, I really want to be an archaeologist until I figured out what they really do. Because boy, do movies make archaeologists seem like the coolest people in the world.
Right? None of that adventure stuff actually happens.
No, yeah, you don't have to solve ancient puzzles that were set up for no good reason at all.
Why didn't they just put stuff in a safe? I don't understand. Why are all these rock combinations?
Spent so much more time setting up the saw blade traps than the treasure's ever worth.
You ever watch those and just stop and think for a minute and go, wait a minute. Do you know how many people it would take to make that work? And somebody'd have to test it. Poor Pedro would have had to try that at least 45 times. He'd have so many holes in him. It just doesn't work.
Well, then they always leave the clues on how to solve it behind. So did you really want to protect the idol that much?
Right? Just let them have it.
Yeah, it's so strange. But really, I think directing film would have been my dream. Used to make movies with my cousins and brothers all the time. Obviously, tremendously scripted. But then you grow up and I kind of learned I wasn't interested in the science of filmmaking. Like all the terminology even bores me. So it wasn't for me.
Like the technical side of filmmaking is just no, or
Right. Yes, exactly. Like I don't like Christopher Nolan seems to have a brain for that sort of thing that I just, just never interested me. So then I thought I wanted to write movies, but then you grow up and learn how little the screenwriter really has in the final product. I determined film was not for me. So I transitioned into critiquing.
Unless you are Christopher Nolan, then you get final cut.
Well, sure. Yes, but I don't think you get... You tend to have to also be the director if you're going to be the screenwriter and have it be your vision.
True story.
So I'd rather...
Or write a novel, get it adapted, and then you have a lot of ability to talk about what actually gets put to screen. Like Gone Girl is a good example.
Prose is tricky.
Or like Lee Child with Jack Reacher, because I'm sure Tom Cruise was his first choice for his 6'5" hero.
Look, I tried to put a positive spin on it. I had one good example.
Look, I would not have watched those movies if Tom Cruise were not in them.
Fair. Hey, I'm just saying, if you're a novelist, you don't always get your vision on screen.
Never go back. Yeah, that's me.
Wow.
Well, hey, do you guys think this story was true or fiction? Truth or fiction?
Truth.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean toward true. Actually, I feel like this feels like a truth, inspiring. This really happened. This guy should have gave up a long time ago, but he didn't. Kind of feel to it.
Yes, it is indeed true. It is the life story of Diamond Dallas Page.
Hey, that's cool.
Which is a story I often reference when people think they're too old to do something. Because the man did not start professionally wrestling until he was 35, and he's a Hall of Famer.
I've never heard of him.
You don't strike me as somebody who watched a lot of WWE.
No, definitely not. No.
Yes.
I will say it is inspiring and 100% true, because you know what? I might have gave up on acting or put it on hold or whatever, but I'm actually going to be in a lovely low-budget independent feature this year. So finally, I'm going to be in a movie, even if I don't want people to see it.
Just kidding. Oh, shots fired.
My performance, not the movie. My performance.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Secretly, he's like, oh man, I'm glad I got this covered up.
Right.
That came out wrong. No, but I'm on IMDb finally. I'm like, see, success. I don't need money and fame. I made it.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like this story because as I approach my third decade of life, and I am not, being professionally paid to write, it's a good reminder of I will eventually.
Well, that's inspiring. I like that.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know who this is. What is the title of your story?
Never Too Late.
It breaks my heart.
It's not too late. It's never too late.
I don't understand.
What?
Are you singing a song or something?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't do music.
Oh, I get why you're not a singer though.
Because I speak instead of singing.
So does Eminem.
Yeah, I mean, and he does it pretty well.
How could we forget the 2018 hit Venom?
I'm Slim Shady. Yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys, you're just imitating, I think.
You don't think that Venom is his number one hit? Adrenaline, Momentum, Venom.
No. Are we just going to sing Eminem songs?
Somebody's got to sing something from his new album. Go.
No.
Guilty Conscious. That's a good song.
That is a good song, especially how it ends.
Yes. That's a win. That's a winner all around.
All right, as our show goes, we will occasionally pick listener stories to read and discuss on Smirk. If you'd like the chance to have yours read, email to mystory@smirkpodcast.com. And if you like Smirk, please share the episode on your social media outlets. Join the conversation by joining our Facebook group. You can follow us on Twitter @SmirkPodcast. Use the show's hashtag. Be sure to subscribe and rate us on your favorite podcast app, and check out our website at smirkpodcast.com. Zach, are you happy with your story that you told one that was positive and uplifting and really just brought the light back to the world?
I feel like my past couple have been positive, so the next one's got to be messed up. Return to form.
I was going to say, was it like 2020, new year, new you sort of thing? But I guess not.
No, that's really not it.
He's like, no, same me. I'm just, I hide it pretty well.
I'm just trying. I'm just trying to like the things I like more.
Good for you. That's good.
That is positive. Look at you go.
And I'll give you a tease. Our next story, I wrote our next story, our next episode, and it's going to be a murder mystery. So there you go. There's a little tease for the next episode.
Wait, is it Valentine's Day's coming up, right?
It's not a Valentine's Day episode.
Oh.
I mean, there might be love involved.
Well, all crimes of passion do.
Good luck. You
That
got to
would have
close
been
it
good
out.
timing.
Till I collapse, I'm spilling these raps as long as you feel.
Eminem, check.
What about DMX? DMX doesn't get enough love.
Oh, he was in prison for a while. He got plenty of love.
All the crime gets in the way.
Yeah. X gonna give it to you.
I was going to say that changes the meaning of X gonna give it to you.
Time to go.
As you write your own life story, always remember to tell it with a smirk. Well, then I definitely won't tell you what the biggest lie that all adults tell children is. I'll have to say that for the explicit show.
That they're special?
No.
Oh.
That
You can amount to something if you try really hard?
No, that sex with the condom is still fun. Anyway.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
That's the biggest lie.
I mean, it's uncomfortable for women, too, if it makes you feel better.
Noted. What
not
are the
fun.
topic here? What?
Not fun on any part.